What is up, everybody? I wanted to come to you guys tonight with my AEW Collision review. Man, Collision wasn't that great of a show tonight, to be honest with you guys. Collision just wasn't that. Collision wasn't that good. I'm gonna be honest. I thought Collision was just. It was just. It was just. It wasn't a great show. It was. This show tonight for Collision wasn't great. It was just. It wasn't a good show. It was like average show. I just there was nothing on this show that really stood out about AEW Collision tonight. This show was not any good. There was nothing I would really there was nothing really I would go back and rewatch on this show tonight for AEW Collision. This show was just not good. So let's jump right into it. We had Pac versus we have Pac versus Speedball Mike Bailey. This was a one-on-one men's match between Pac and Speedball Bailey. This was a decent one-on-one men's match between Pac and Speedball Bailey tonight on AEW Collision. And this was just an alright to decent one-on-one men's match between Pac and Speedball Mike Bailey. This match was just decent for what it was. It was alright. It was okay. Nothing really stood out about this match. It was an alright one-on-one men's match between Pac and the Speedball Mike Bailey. And Pac ended up going over on Speedball Bailey by submission tonight on AEW in a pretty decent to average one-on-one men's match tonight on AEW. And then we had Eddie Kingston versus Shibata in a one-on-one men's match tonight on AEW Collision. We had Eddie Kingston versus Shibata. This was a decent one-on-one men's match between Shibata and Eddie Kingston tonight on AEW Collision. This match was just average. This match was alright. It was decent to watch. I thought it was okay. I mean, it was a decent match between Eddie Kingston and Shibata. And Eddie Kingston ended up picking up the win over Shibata tonight on AEW Collision in a one-on-one men's match tonight on AEW Collision. This match was just alright. It was a decent match to be a one-on-one men's match tonight on AEW Collision, and Eddie Kingston picked up the win over Shibata tonight on AEW Collision. And then we had the Outrunners and Dalton Castle versus MXM TV tonight in a trios match. And the Outrunners ended up picking up the win over XMX TV tonight on AEW. On Collision, we had the Outrunners and Dalton Castle versus XMX TV. And the Outrunners and Dalton Castle ended up picking up the win over XMX TV tonight on AEW Collision in a trios match. And then we had Tekla versus Tate versus Mello. This was a one-on-one women's match tonight on AEW Collision between Mello and Tekla. This was probably the best match of the night in my opinion. With Tekla versus Mello, this was probably the best women's match of the night tonight on AEW. This was a really, really good women's match tonight on AEW between Tekla and Mello tonight on AEW Collision. This was a pretty decent one-on-one women's match tonight on AEW Collision versus Tekla and Mello tonight on AEW Collision. And Tekla ended up picking up the win over Mello on AEW Collision tonight. And after the match, the Sisters of Sin and Tekla ended up try to beat down Tamello, but Chris Statlander comes out. She makes a save, and then Jamie Hayter comes out and they make the save of Tamello, and Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander they fend off the triangle of Matt. They fend off the Sisters of Sin tonight on AEW Collision. And then we had the main event, which was Takeshita versus Roderick Strong tonight on AEW Dynamite. This was a one-on-one men's match with Takeshita versus Roderick Strong in the main event of AEW Collision. This was a decent main event tonight for AEW Collision with Takeshita versus Roderick Strong. This was an alright to average one-on-one men's match tonight in the main event of AEW Collision between Takeshita and Roderick Strong. This was an alright match. It was okay. I mean, there wasn't really anything that stood out about this match between Takeshita and Roderick Strong tonight in the main event of AEW Collision. This was an alright match, and Takeshita ended up picking up the win over Roderick Strong in the main event of AEW Collision tonight. And then we had a promo by Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston cut a pretty good promo after his match with Shibata. Eddie Kingston cut a pretty good Eddie Kingston cut a pretty good promo after his match with Shibata. So go and check out the promo by Eddie Kingston tonight on AEW Collision. And then we had a backstage segment with Red Velvet. Red Velvet had a backstage segment tonight on AEW Collision. So go and check out the promo by Eddie Kingston tonight on AEW Collision, and go and check out the backstage segment with Red Velvet tonight on AEW Collision. Overall, I'm going to give AEW Collision a 6.5 out of 10. This show was just, there was nothing good about this show. The best match of the night was Tekla versus Tamello. That was the best match of the night tonight on AEW Collision. Other than that, Collision was just an overall average show. Kind of boring, to be honest with you guys. AEW Collision was boring tonight. There was really nothing. There's really no big matches tonight on the card. AEW Collision was just, it was just an average show tonight. So I'm going to give AEW Collision a 6.5 out of 10. So guys, if you guys like this AEW Collision review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you guys know that if you guys like this AEW Collision review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to all. That way you guys don't miss any uploads or live streams from me. I would really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you guys for all your guys' continued love and support on these wrestling reviews. I love bringing these wrestling reviews to you guys. So yeah, guys, overall, I'm going to give AEW Collision a 6.5 out of 10 tonight. AEW Collision was a very boring show. The only two things I would refer to you guys to go back and watch tonight on AEW Collision. Go back and watch the promo by Eddie Kingston, and go back and watch the backstage segment by Red Velvet, and go back and watch the match with Tekla versus Tamello. Go back and watch those three things tonight on AEW Collision. Those were the best three things on AEW Collision tonight. Other than that, AEW Collision was a boring show, average show for me. I didn't really enjoy it. So thank you guys for watching this AEW Collision review. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying these wrestling reviews. I enjoy bringing these wrestling reviews to you guys. And yeah, guys, I will see you guys back here in a few minutes for the TNA review. So until then, I'll see you guys back here in about 20 to 30 minutes for the TNA review. And thank you guys for watching this AEW Collision review. If you guys like this AEW Collision review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to all. That way you guys don't miss any uploads or live streams from me. I would really appreciate it. And guys, let me know what you guys thought about AEW Collision tonight down in the comment section below. And guys, give me a rating for AEW Collision tonight down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys back here in about 20 to 30 minutes with the TNA review. And I'll see you guys here in a few minutes. You guys have a good one. Peace, guys.